They say never play with fire, or you will get burned. But what happens when the fire is the most dangerous guy in school, and the game is truth or dare? Just one kiss. That was all it took to turn my invisible, boring life into a beautiful disaster. Welcome back to Midnight Cravings. I am your host, and tonight we are settling in for a long, twisted, and heart-fluttering story. This is a tale about risk, about obsession, and about finding love in the most unexpected places. So, grab your favorite snack, put on your headphones, and get comfortable. This game is about to begin. It was October, and the semester was in full swing. My class decided that studying was overrated and that what we really needed was a massive house party to build team spirit. You know the kind of party I am talking about. The air smelled like cheap beer and pizza grease. The bass from the speakers was vibrating through the floorboards, and everyone was trying a little too hard to look cool. I am Emily. I am not the party type. I am the girl who usually finds the nearest pet dog to hang out with, or hides in the corner nursing a warm soda, praying for the night to end. I hate being the center of attention. I like my invisible bubble. But that night, the universe decided to pop that bubble. After everyone had eaten enough pizza to feed an army and downed enough liquid courage to do something stupid, the atmosphere shifted. Someone shouted the three words that make every introvert's blood run cold. Truth or dare. I tried to shrink into the beige sofa, hoping I would blend in with the upholstery. But the circle formed too quickly. I was trapped. The empty green beer bottle was placed in the center of the wooden table. It spun, round and round, making that scratching sound against the wood. It slowed down. It wobbled. And then, with cruel precision, it stopped. The neck of the bottle was pointing straight at me. My mind went blank. I felt the heat rise up my neck. I swallowed hard, my voice trembling as I looked at the grinning faces around me. Can I choose truth? I whispered. A guy named Mike laughed, slapping his knee. Truth? That is boring. Come on, Emily. Don't be a buzzkill. If you pick truth, you have to down another beer. I looked at the beer can. I have zero tolerance for alcohol. One more sip and I would probably pass out or start crying. I felt cornered. I took a deep breath, regretting my life choices. Fine, I sighed. I choose dare. The room erupted in cheers. Draw a card. Hurry up, Mike yelled. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped the deck. I pulled a card from the middle. The host snatched it from my fingers and read it out loud, his voice booming over the music. The card said, "Kiss the tallest guy in the room." Wearing black. The music seemed to stop. The laughter died down. Slowly, dozens of heads turned toward the dark corner of the room near the balcony door. Oh no, sitting there, leaning back in a chair with his legs stretched out, looking bored out of his mind, was Caleb. He wasn't just a classmate. Caleb was a legend, and not the friendly kind. He was the school's notorious bad boy. He always wore black. He had a sharp jawline, messy dark hair, and eyes that looked like they could cut glass. Rumor had it he was in a gang, or that he had been arrested, or that he just hated everyone. Nobody dared to look him in the eye, let alone touch him. The silence in the room was heavy. Are you crazy? Someone whispered. He is going to kill her. Just change the dare. My best friend, Sarah pleaded, tugging on my sleeve. Emily, don't do it. But the class president, who had a petty grudge against Caleb, smirked cruelly. Rules are rules. He is in the room, isn't he? If she doesn't do it, she has to drink the mystery mix bucket. I looked at the bucket of mixed alcohol and shuddered. Then I looked at Caleb. He slowly looked up from his phone. He didn't look angry. He just looked cold, like an ice sculpture. I clenched my fists so hard my nails dug into my palms. I stood up. My legs felt like jelly. Every step toward him felt like walking to the gallows. He radiated an energy that screamed, "Stay away." I stopped right in front of him. He didn't move. He didn't even blink. I stammered, my voice barely audible. Caleb, can you kiss me? Just once? It is for the game. He sat there like a statue. No reaction. Just that cold, piercing stare. My face burned with humiliation. I could hear the whispers behind me. This is so awkward. Look at him. He is ignoring her. He is going to snap. I wanted to disappear. Tears pricked the corners of my eyes. I felt so small, so pathetic. Why did I agree to this? I turned my heel, ready to run out the door and never come back. Suddenly, I heard a heavy sigh behind me. Before I could take a step, a warm, strong hand grabbed my wrist. The grip was firm, but not painful. He pulled me back. I stumbled, falling toward him. He grabbed my waist to steady me. And then, without a word, he pulled me down. His lips crashed onto mine. My brain short-circuited. I expected it to be cold, but it was burning hot. The kiss was firm, demanding, and shocking. It smelled of mint and tobacco. For a moment, the room disappeared. The cheering, the music, the fear, it all vanished. All I could feel was the pressure of his hand on my waist and his lips moving against mine. When he pulled away, I stood there, frozen. My eyes were wide open. He looked at me, his expression returning to that bored indifference. He wiped his mouth with the back of his hand and said, in a low, raspy voice, "Done. Now get lost." I scrambled back to my friends, my heart pounding like a drum against my ribs. The room exploded in cheers and whistles, but I couldn't hear them. I sat down, touching my lips. They still tingled. I looked back at the corner. Caleb was sitting there, scrolling on his phone again, pushing the world away as if nothing had happened. But for me, everything had happened. After that night, something changed in my brain. They said he was a thug. They said he was dangerous. But when I closed my eyes, I remembered the warmth of his hand. I remembered that sigh, like he was tired of the world, not tired of me. To me, he didn't seem evil. He just seemed lonely. I became obsessed. I started watching him, not in a creepy way. Well, maybe a little. In class, he slept through every lecture. He would fold his arms on the desk, bury his face, and pass out. The professors would yell, "Caleb, wake up." But he wouldn't even twitch. One afternoon, the lecture hall was packed. I was sitting in the back row, trying to take notes. Suddenly, a shadow fell over me. I looked up. It was Caleb. My heart stopped. There were other empty seats, but he pulled out the chair right next to me. The metal legs scraped loudly against the floor. He sat down, threw his bag on the floor, and leaned back. I panicked. I couldn't focus on the professor. I could smell his scent, that mix of cigarette smoke and expensive soap. He propped his chin on his hand and turned his head. He was staring right at me. I tried to look at the whiteboard, but I could feel his gaze burning a hole in my cheek. I turned to him and whispered, "Why? Why are you looking at me?" He smirked, a tiny, barely there smile. "You stared at the back of my head all morning. Can't I look back for a minute?" My face went red. I was looking at the board. I lied. He chuckled. It was a low, rumbling sound. He didn't argue. He just closed his eyes, mumbled something about the professor being boring, and went to sleep. I spent the rest of the class terrified to move. At one point, I accidentally kicked his foot. His eyes snapped open. I froze. "Sorry," I squeaked. He looked at me, sleepy and disarmed. "Stop moving," he muttered. Then he went back to sleep. I sat there like a statue for 45 minutes. That evening, I saw him again. I was walking back to the dorms, cutting through the campus garden. He was standing under a flickering street lamp, smoking. The smoke curled around him like a scene from a noir movie. He looked sad. I walked over. I don't know why. My legs just moved on their own. He looked at me, his eyes dark and mysterious. He didn't tell me to leave. He held out the cigarette. "Want to try?" I had never smoked in my life, but I wanted to impress him. I wanted to share something with him. I took it. I put it to my lips and inhaled. Immediately, I coughed. I coughed so hard I thought my lungs were turning inside out. My eyes watered. Caleb snatched the cigarette back. He threw it on the ground and crushed it under his heavy boot. "You are an idiot," he said, but his voice wasn't angry. It was just matter of fact. "I don't like girls like you." I wiped my eyes. "What do you mean?" "Girls like me. Good girls. Girls who pretend to be bad. Go home, Emily." I stood up straighter. I don't know where I got the courage, but I looked him in the eye and said, "You will like me eventually." He paused. He looked at me with genuine confusion. "Not in a million years." He turned and walked away, hands in his pockets, disappearing into the darkness. But I didn't give up. That challenge lit a fire in me. Every morning, I woke up 20 minutes early. I went to the campus convenience store and bought a bottle of strawberry milk and a warm bun. I would sneak into the classroom before anyone else and leave it on his desk. Day 1, he looked at the milk, looked around, and threw it in the trash. I watched from the hallway, heartbroken. Day 2, he left it on the desk and walked away. Day 3, he sat down. He stared at the pink bottle. Then, he poked it with his finger. By the second week, it became a routine. He would come in, sit down, stick the straw in the milk, and drink it while looking at his phone. He never looked for me, but he drank it. One day, he caught me. I was placing the bottle down when he walked in. He leaned against the doorframe, crossing his arms. "What are you doing? Trying to buy me with sugar?" I jumped. I just think smoking is bad for you. Strawberry milk is better. He walked over, picked up the bottle, and smirked. "I want to pursue you," I blurted out. The words just vomited out of my mouth. He laughed. It was a harsh, barking laugh. "You? Chasing me? Look at you. You are like a little bunny rabbit. I am not your type." "Then what is your type?" I asked. "Definitely not you," he snapped. "Someone who doesn't shake when they talk to me." It hurt, but I remembered the way he kissed me. I remembered the way he drank the milk every day. Actions speak louder than words, right? Things got complicated during midterms. I was stressed out of my mind, studying until 1 a.m. every night. To make matters worse, my period came early. I was walking down the hallway between classes when the pain hit me like a truck. It wasn't just a cramp. It felt like someone was stabbing me. I doubled over, clutching my stomach. My face went pale. I checked my bag. Nothing. No pads. No painkillers. I texted Sarah, but she was in an exam. I curled up against the wall near the water fountain, feeling dizzy and miserable. Students walked past me. Some looked, but nobody stopped. I felt invisible again. I reached out and grabbed the pant leg of someone walking by without looking up. "Please, do you have any tissue?" I whispered, my voice cracking. The person paused. I saw black boots. Then, the boots walked away. I felt a wave of hopelessness. Of course, nobody cares. I rested my forehead on my knees, trying not to cry. 5 minutes later, something heavy dropped into my lap. I looked up. A plastic bag. I opened it. Inside were 3 different packs of pads, a box of strong painkillers, a bottle of water, and a bar of dark chocolate. I looked up. Caleb was standing there, looking at the ceiling, looking at the wall, looking anywhere but at me. "Use them. Then go to the nurse," he grumbled. I scrambled to the restroom. When I came out, washed up, and feeling slightly better, I expected him to be gone. But he was leaning against the wall, waiting. "Thank you," I said softly. "I didn't know you knew how to buy these things." "I have a sister," he muttered. He looked at me, scanning my pale face. "Can you walk?" I nodded, but as soon as I took a step, I stumbled. He sighed, the same sigh from the party. "Get on," he commanded, crouching down and presenting his back to me. "What?" "I am carrying you. You walk like a zombie. Hurry up before I change my mind." I climbed onto his back. He was warm. His shoulders were broad and steady. He smelled like mint, tobacco, and the strawberry milk I bought him. I wrapped my arms around his neck and rested my cheek on his shoulder. I felt safe. We walked through the campus. People stared. The scary bad boy carrying the quiet girl. "Can I still chase you?" I whispered into his ear. He was silent for a long time. "Deal whatever you want," he finally grumbled. "But don't get heavy." That was the green light. Or at least, a yellow light. A few weeks later, my friends dragged me to a club for a birthday party. I tried to say no, but Sarah insisted I needed to get out. They forced me to play a game again. These people never learn. The dare this time? "Go get that handsome guy's number over by the bar." I refused. "I have a crush on Caleb," I protested. Sarah rolled her eyes. "Caleb is going nowhere. This guy is cute. Go." They pushed me. I stumbled toward the bar. The guy was tall, blonde, and laughing with his friends. I was terrified. I stood there, holding my phone, shaking. "Excuse me," I started. Suddenly, a tall, dark figure stepped in front of me, blocking the guy from my view. I looked up. Caleb. He was wearing a leather jacket, looking furious. "Instead of playing stupid games, why don't you study?" He scowled down at me. My heart sank. He sounded so disappointed. "I know. I am pathetic," I whispered, lowering my head. "You said you were chasing me," Caleb said, his voice dropping to a dangerous low. He took a step closer. "Now you are hitting on other guys?" I looked up, surprised. I thought you didn't like me. You always push me away. So I thought I should give up. Is that so?" He stepped even closer. I was backed up against the bar counter. He placed his hands on the counter on either side of me, trapping me. "Well, I haven't given up." My brain stopped working. The music faded out. What? I breathed. Be with me, he said. It wasn't a question. It was a statement. Really? I cried. Tears started streaming down my face. He rolled his eyes, but his hand came up to wipe a tear from my cheek. His thumb was rough but gentle. Yes, really. Now stop crying. You look ugly when you cry. We started dating. It was the strangest, sweetest relationship ever. He didn't change who he was. He was still cold to everyone else. But with me, he was different. He let me watch him sleep in the library. He even let me use his arm as a pillow. One day, I opened my chat app and saw he had changed his profile picture. It used to be a black square. Now, it was a picture of a corgi puppy. I texted him, "Is that the dog I sent you a picture of?" He replied, "Found it online." I knew he was lying. He saved the photo I sent him. Another time, it was raining, pouring rain. I bought a huge, bright yellow umbrella. I ran to him and held it over his head. He looked at the yellow umbrella with disgust. "I am not walking under that. Then get wet." I laughed. He sighed, took the umbrella from me so he could hold it high enough, and walked me all the way to my dorm. He got his left shoulder completely soaked because he was tilting the umbrella over me. But good things trigger my anxiety. I started to feel insecure. He was Caleb. He was cool, handsome, and mysterious. I was just Emily, boring, clumsy Emily. One afternoon, I was waiting for him outside his classroom. I saw him talking to a girl. She was the arts committee leader. She was gorgeous. She had long, wavy hair, a perfect smile, and she was wearing a stylish white dress. She touched his arm and laughed. Caleb didn't pull away. He nodded at something she said. I felt a cold stone drop in my stomach. They looked perfect together, like a prom king and queen. I looked down at my sneakers and my oversized hoodie. I felt like a temporary amusement. I felt like a charity case. Panic took over. I didn't walk up to them. I turned around and ran. I didn't just run back to the dorm. I ran away. I texted Sarah that I was going to visit my aunt. Then I turned off my phone. I checked into a cheap hotel near the train station. I bought 3 cups of spicy garlic noodles for 3 days. I lay in that hotel bed, eating noodles, watching sad movies, and crying until my eyes were swollen shut. I was a mess, unshowered, smelling like garlic and misery. On the 3rd night, the hotel room phone rang. I stared at it. Nobody knew I was here. I picked it up. "Hello? Come downstairs. Now." The voice was deep, angry, and familiar. "Caleb." My heart slammed against my chest. How did he find me? I didn't argue. I put on my hoodie and went down to the lobby. Caleb was standing there. He looked terrible. His hair was messy. He had dark circles under his eyes, and his clothes were rumpled. He looked like he hadn't slept in 3 days either. When he saw me, his eyes blazed with anger. "You have some nerve running away," he snapped, his voice echoing in the empty lobby. I flinched. I needed space. Space? You vanished. Do you know how many people I threatened to find out where you were? I couldn't hold it back anymore. I burst into tears again. "I thought you were just pitying me." I sobbed, snot running down my nose. "That girl was beautiful. You belong with someone like her. I am just a mess. I smell like spicy garlic noodles. I haven't washed my hair. Leave me alone." I turned to run back to the elevator. Caleb moved faster. He grabbed my arm and spun me around. He didn't yell. He pulled me into a crushing hug. He buried his face in my unwashed hair. He held me so tight I could barely breathe. "You idiot," he whispered. His voice was shaking. I froze. "I don't care if you smell like garlic," he said into my neck. "I don't care if you are messy. I don't care about the arts committee girl. She was asking me to move a speaker for the stage. I didn't even hear a word she said, because I was looking for you." I pulled back slightly to look at him, but, "Do you really like me?" He took my hand. He pressed it flat against his chest, right over his heart. I could feel it. Thump, 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 thump. It was racing. It was beating as fast as mine. "Feel that?" he asked softly. "My heart beats like this every time I see you. Since the first moment I saw you at that stupid party." I looked at him, shocked. "You are not just a random girl, Emily. You are the only one I see." He took a deep breath, looking embarrassed. "Look, I am not good with words, but imagine I am the ocean. Big, dark, scary ocean. And you are the only fish I want swimming in it." I blinked. Then I snorted. Then I laughed. That is the worst metaphor I have ever heard, I said, wiping my tears. He smiled. A real, genuine smile that reached his eyes. Shut up and kiss me. And right there, in the lobby of a cheap hotel, smelling like garlic noodles and tears, I kissed the bad boy who turned out to be my destiny. Since then, we have been inseparable. He still hates everyone else, and he still sleeps in class. But now, when he sleeps, he holds my hand. And every morning, there is a bottle of strawberry milk waiting on my desk from him. And that, my friends, is how a simple game of truth or dare led to a love story no one expected. Sometimes, the coldest hearts just need the right kind of warmth to melt them. If this story made your heart skip a beat, or if you just really want some spicy garlic noodles now, please hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And if you want more late-night romance stories, make sure to subscribe to Midnight Cravings and ring that bell so you never miss a video. I am your host, signing off. Sweet dreams, everyone.